cosmos, I'm Athina and I'm grateful that you're here with me today. Today we are going to have the first part of my deck collection. I wanted to show off my decks because some of them are not used much on my channel or in general. Or really rare, but I thought no, they deserve to have some limelight as well. So I'm just going to show off all my decks, yeah, so that every one of my decks have the opportunity to appear on my channel. But maybe there is some of you that are interested in what decks I have and what I use. So yeah, let's get started. Hopefully this video is not too long. I try to make it not as long, but this first part, as I have hopefully in mind, is going to be all my tarot decks, because I have less tarot decks than I have oracle decks. So the oracle decks I have to split up. But yeah, let's get started with the oracle deck, with the tarot decks, and I'm going to go like the timeline that I got them. So I'm going to start with my first tarot deck. This is this one here. It's in German, but the English translation of the deck will be Archangel Power Tarot. It's by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. I have used this deck rarely here on my channel, more in the beginning and once when I did messages from the angels, because it's an Archangel deck, so the angels are present, so this is not important. The deck comes with a guidebook. All decks should come with a guidebook, and if not, they may be fake. But this deck in particularly is quite interesting because as you can see, the format of the deck reminds you of an oracle deck. Moreover, it has written things on the deck with on the cards with the meanings of each of the cards. It's like this, that the major arcana are all purple, violet. Then the 4 different suits of the deck is divided like this. That blue is Archangel Michael's suit, the suit of the sword. Archangel Raphael represents the suit of cups. Archangel Gabriel represents the suit of wands, and Archangel Ariel represents the suit of pentacles. So you can see here, Gabriel is orange, Michael is blue, Ariel is pinkish, and Raphael is green. This is a hybrid, as me and my friends like to call this deck, because it is certainly based on tarot, but you have here the format of an oracle deck as well as the meanings on the card, so it's an oracle tarot hybrid. It was my first deck that I got some behind the scenes information. I went with my friends at the bookstore, and the bookstore was currently under construction. They were renovating it, so there was not a lot of choice and options, and I was looking at the decks and looking which one I was the most drawn towards. I had a few in my hands, but I could not decide really which one to take. It felt like something was still off, and because everything was under construction, the shelf was also a shelf that was built for the short amount of time there was there. And I saw that on the ground there was something behind, well, underneath the shelf, behind the things that were in the shelf. Like, there was something, and I was holding the two decks that I was the most drawn to, but I saw that there was something underneath hidden, and I was curious. I didn't know if it really was something or not, so I put the cards on the floor, because all the tarot decks were on the floor, on the floor level. So I was crouching, and then I put everything to the side and decided to pull whatever was there hidden in front, and voila, it was this deck that was hidden, and I was like, oh, this deck looks cool, and it's Archangel themed, and I was like, I take this as a sign of the universe that this deck was meant for me. So this is my first deck that I bought, and it was really helpful. I really love it. It has a quite sentimental place. I've done readings with it for myself and others with this deck, and it worked. It worked really well. So yeah, this was my first deck, the Archangel, the Power Archangel or Tarot Oracle hybrid. So let's move on to the next. The next is the Modern Witch Tarot. You may know this deck a lot already. This is the smaller version. I know that there is a bigger version where the box is bigger. You have here the guidebook. It only shows the upright meanings of the cards. It's in German as well. Here is the deck. You may have seen it already in my videos. It's the second tarot deck that I got for myself. It is based on Rider-Waite-Smith, even with the images. They are closely resembling the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. Now to the backstory of this. There was once when I was watching some pick a card videos, I felt that the person on the pick a card said something, and I was like, I need. It made me think of a question that I wanted to ask my spirit team, and so I went to grab my oracle deck that I've made myself, because at that time, the only oracle deck that I have is a deck that didn't answer yes and no questions. So I made one myself. So I went to grab it to ask question and to get the answer. And then there was this sudden overwhelming feeling that I needed to go to a certain store. Well, it were two stores. One where the bookstore where I got this tarot deck from, and another store that is spirituality based. There are a lot of crystals, books on spirituality, healing, as well as other theory based things, and also oracle decks and tarot decks. So I was being guided to go to those two places, and when I went to the first place, I was drawn in particular to the oracle section and two oracle decks. I didn't know which one was calling me out the most, so I got one first and the other later. You will see the complete story then when I show off my oracle decks. And after that, I went to the bookstore, and I had on my wish list this deck here, the Modern Witch Tarot, and it was there. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is why I was drawn, because when I'm drawn and guided towards something, I know where I have to go, and I have the feeling of not exactly where, but around specific area, and I was drawn towards the area of the decks, and this is what I laid my eyes on and was drawn towards, and as well as a book that was that I was drawn to in a shelf that was in besides it. More or less. So yeah, so this is the story of the Modern Witch Tarot. Now on to the next tarot deck. It's this one here, the traditional manga tarot. You have seen this one quite often as well. It's a deck that I have used so many times for myself and also for other readings. It's quite beautiful, the artwork. I love it. It's as a anime and manga fan, I love this deck. It was a deck that I connected really fast, that when the cards were laid down I already knew what they wanted to convey to me, what the message was. And I used this to practice a little bit more reading tarot, because it was easy for me to connect with it, easier than with the Modern Witch Tarot. I don't know why exactly, but yeah. How I came to this deck is I went with my friend. She is interested in crystal and finds spirituality and energy healing interesting, but it's not one of her passions like for myself. So I went to show her the store because there were a lot of crystals, and she once showed me another store where there were crystals and as well as beauty products that are vegan and natural. So then I showed her this store for the crystals, and in as a tarot reader, when I see decks, I get always curious and see them. And this deck, when I saw it in the shelf, it was like highlighted. It was had more vibrant color than all the other things. And I showed her, and I was walking to the store. I didn't want to buy anything, but I kept being pulled towards the tarot section, and so I was always fixating on this deck. So I thought, maybe this is a sign for me that I need to buy this deck because something will happen. And surely this deck here is the one that I connected so well, so fast, that I've used it so often that you see that the box is already a little bit on the downside. Yeah. After that, I've got the Gentle Heart Tarot by Vanessa Samana, because I saw this deck used by other readers as well as Vanessa herself, and I found it so beautiful that I was drawn towards it and bought it. It comes with the guidebook. You have seen this as well often. Just that this Gentle Heart Tarot is her second edition. The first edition is a little bit different because here at the second edition there are a little bit more rose gold folding on the box, on the cards as well. You can see here at the edges it's rose gold, shiny it should be, but I've used it often as well, so the foiling is a little bit coming off as well. It's not as shiny as it used to. The cards are all in rose colored, pink and brown. The images are quite different from, it's based on Rider-Waite-Smith, but with a little bit of twist here and there, so that it doesn't look exactly like the Rider-Waite-Smith like the Modern Witch Tarot does. It's simplified the images, not a lot of symbols or anything like this. Yeah, I've got this deck with some other things from her store that I bought like because of free shipping, because I didn't know I didn't want to pay shipping. But the thing is, Vanessa Semina's business, Ball Life, it's the company is in Switzerland, and I live in Switzerland, so I didn't know at that time that if I bought it I would not have shipping costs, because I once bought an oracle deck and something else from her store, and it was not exceeding then the price of free shipping. But because I've lived in Switzerland and even in the same state as Ball Life is headquartered, I didn't have to pay free shipping. So yeah, I've got this because I found it really beautiful. There's not much of a story behind it, unfortunately. Not like the others that I had. So yeah. So the next one is the Children of Letha Tarot. This is one of the rarest. I hardly use them in my channel because they are quite interesting. Because the first time I got this deck, when I held the cards in my hand for the first time and looked at it, I knew immediately that this was a shadow work deck. It was a deck that would help me with shadow work. And as you can see, it's quite dark, it's black. The edges are also a matte black. The images are beautiful. I really love this deck, but I don't use it often. As I've said, it's quite a particular deck, so even for myself I don't use it as often. This deck has also a special place in my heart because my friend, my soul sister from my community, she once wrote me and asked me, hey, I have a little something for you. I want to give you a present. And then she asked me, what deck should I buy you? It's like a Christmas present from me for you, for all the help and that I gave to the community. And I was like, oh, hold on, I have too many decks. I don't know what to do. So I picked a dice because I didn't know if I should get a tarot deck or an oracle deck. So I picked a dice and asked the dice, okay, odd numbers are tarot decks, and the opposite of odd numbers that I forgot how it's called in English. Oracle deck. So I threw the dice. It was the one for the tarot deck. So then I didn't know, okay, which tarot deck to get. So I put every tarot deck had its number. Then I put it in a number generator, and whichever number it would be, this would be the deck that my friend will gift me. And it was the Children of Letha deck that came out. And yeah, I really needed it somehow because I was like really overwhelmed when I got it first and saw it. Yeah, shadow work. So that's why it's one of the decks that don't appear often, but when they appear and when they are used, the messages are quite a slap in the face. And this Children of Letha deck came also with a sticker, and it has its own little pouch. It came with this velvet pouch. It's really soft. So yeah, that's that. On to the next one. The next one, there is quite a story behind this. If you've seen my video, it's in the playlist Tarot and Oracle. There is a video where I talk about fake tarot decks and oracle decks and original decks. How to differentiate it. I got this deck, the first one that I got, was on Amazon. The price was really cheap, but when I received it was like this little box. The quality of the cards were somehow strange, like low quality, and the energy just felt off from the deck. I don't know why, but the energy felt off. I was never drawn towards it. I rarely used it, and when I did, it was like somehow there is some sort of dark hint behind it. And then when I was talking to someone from the community, and they said, because the deck didn't come with a guidebook, I said this, then the person was immediately alarmed and said, does it have a QR code? Because I think you've got a fake tarot deck. And I was like, oh my god, all the things that she mentioned was right. And I was, no fucking way. I'm sorry for swearing. Oh yeah, please don't bully me. And I was like, no way. And then I looked into the online store of the bookstore that I got my first deck from, and I saw that they had it, because there was a time where it was not available to purchase. So I got it immediately and waited for it to arrive. It took its sweet time, but it came. And then I saw, wow, the difference between the fake and the original one. So the original one with a guidebook that is fully colored. You have even a place to take notes. Then the cards. And so thanks to that, I was able to make a video on my channel alerting about fake tarot decks as well as oracle decks. And this is how this is. As you can see, mystic manga. It's also based on manga and anime. Me, myself, and we love this. So you have seen it maybe already on my channel if you have been here for a longer time. It comes up from time to time. It's a deck that, because I always choose my decks based on intuition for the readings that I do. So before I start making my pick a card, I have a picture of all my decks, and I close my eyes and ask which deck will pile 1 choose, and then pile 2 and 3. And then I'm being drawn towards the deck that I should use for the certain groups. And so this one is one that comes up, not every time, but it did show up a few times on my channel. And it's quite big, the box. It's magnetic as well. It's nice. So after that, I got the Shadowscapes Tarot, the smaller version, because it was a little bit, it was on sale. So the smaller version, because the guidebook is this small. It only has like this amount of words for the meanings. The bigger version, it's like the box is like this big as well, and the book is also quite big and thick, depending on if it's English or German, because I saw the comments on Amazon that there were some English-speaking people that were quite offended that the guidebook in German was fully colored and the English one not. So this was fun. So the Shadowscapes Tarot, I saw this used by some of the readers I follow, and I always found the artwork so beautiful that I could not resist not getting it. I have used it quite as well for myself, for others, and even for my YouTube channel. So you may have already seen it. It really feels nice to shuffle. I don't know why, it just feels nice. In terms of sound, I find that the Gentle Heart Tarot and the other deck that is from Vanessa Samana that I own, they have such a nice sound when I shuffle them. This is one that really shuffles well and nicely. It's not a thin paper, but it's also not like whatever this material is called in English. I have no idea, but it's quite nice. It's simple, but I like it a lot, and the artwork is just beautiful. And you see the edges here are quite shiny in silver. It's nice. So on to the next one. Some of you may have seen this in my Tarot 101 when because I tried to show other people that may be new to tarot how I start using a tarot deck, or where to start using a tarot deck and what to do. And this was the tarot that I used for that video. I even unpacked it live and done all the things. So maybe you're curious. It's a long video. The guidebook is thick as you can be. It's fully colored, has both reversed and upright meanings. It is a little bit based on Rider-Waite-Smith decks, but the meanings are quite different from the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's not the same, not at all. It is quite a bit flimsy. It just shuffles nicely. It looks like this here. The artwork is beautiful as well. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have gotten it. You've seen it already on my channel if you've been here for a while. I saw another tarot reader use this deck, and I fell in love with the artwork while I saw it, and so I had to get it myself. And I am also really drawn towards oceans and my loft. I don't know if you know about this, but there was this series called H2O. That was filmed in Australia. It's a production of Australia, and it got shown in the German, or it was Austria television program, and I loved it so much. It was about mermaids. So everything that is ocean based is something that always calls my attention. So I love it. On to the next, we have the Dark Heart Tarot, the darker version of the Gentle Heart Tarot. And oh, it's the first time that I'm seeing it, but it looks like the boxes are quite different from each other. So it's more on the height, and this one is more on the, I don't know what this is called. English terms missing, and I don't want you to Google it, but yeah. When I saw the deck, I didn't want to get more decks, but when I saw the deck, I was like, I have to get this. This is beautiful, holy moly, because I fell in love with the side. Look at how beautiful it is. It's the edges are so cool, rainbow color when you see it like this. I don't know if the camera can do it justice. Let me get up to see if you can see. Yeah, look at this, how beautiful this is. I was like, no, I have to get this. Sorry, money, I have to have this. It's the first edition, the Dark Heart Tarot. I don't know if there will ever be a second one, like in the Dark Heart Tarot. And the box has also those cool little details, as well as the guidebook here as well. Look at this, how cool this is. The images are quite similar to the Gentle Heart Tarot, just with a different coloring. It's blue, black, and has this golden rainbow foiling that is really cool. And here you hear the sound when shuffling. It's so nice. I love the ASMR of this deck. Yeah, look how pretty this is. So I have used this deck once, I think, for my YouTube channel during October. If you've seen this later, it's one of the decks that I used themed for October only once. I used it more for myself. It didn't get much used on the channel because it is quite new. I got this, I think, in September. Yeah, I think it was in September that I got this, of 2023, for those that will watch this at a later date. And yeah, then we have one deck that I think will never be used on my tarot, on my channel, as a pick a card option, because I bought this. Excuse me, I had to drink. I bought this for myself so that I could really learn the meanings of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. It's just that the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the original one, I find it so not appealing. It's that the colors are so in a sense like faded, and I was like, dude, this deck is horrible artwork wise. I don't like this. But I wanted to have a deck based on Rider-Waite Tarot with the images correctly as 1-to-1, so that I can learn the correct meaning and the system behind it. Because Rider-Waite-Smith, he had an idea on how this whole deck should work, and in the past I have not followed this. I mostly based on intuition and all the meanings that I picked up from other readers or from the guidebooks, and I was like, I need to honor the system in complete. So I got this deck to learn it. So it's my learning deck. I haven't used it. I have used it when I was in Greece for vacation, for myself, of course. But yeah, I have it still in the right order, because I am planning to make some blogs on the community I am in, the tarot and divination community I am in. So the images are really based on Rider-Waite-Smith, just that the colors are a bit more radiant and a little bit more lively and not so dead. So I don't think that I will ever use this deck on my channel for pick a card readings. It's my personal deck to learn from. Maybe in the future, if I've learned the system correctly, I may use it. But for now, this deck is just for myself. So those are all the tarot decks that I own. In the future, if I get more decks, I will surely make a second part of tarot decks show-offs. But currently this is it. All the decks that I know are still in production. Because, for example, Doreen Virtue, she is not anymore in the tarot oracle scene left, and also said that her decks should not ever be sold again. So her decks, I will not link them as in honor of her, and also there are a lot of her decks that are counterfeit decks, and I don't want to support those fake and scammers. That's why the decks that are not linked are the ones that I haven't found on Amazon, or because Doreen Witcher is not in the scene anymore, so I will not link any of her decks, so that you don't fall into counterfeit. Or some of her decks, the original ones, people are selling it in prices that are atrocious. I hope I used the correct word. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me to the end. Those are all my tarot decks. They all got to see the limelight of the internet. Quite happy. I hope the decks are happy too. Thank you for sticking with me till the end. I wish you all the best, and I will be seeing you in my next video. Bye!